Welcome back to the True Blue Riffcast. I am Jeremy, and I am joined, as always, by...
Hi, I'm Dave, and this is a True Blue Riffcast, and I'm joined, as always, by...
Jeremy. Hey, what's going on, Dave?
It's going fantastic. It's pretty late. We were just saying before we started the recording how late it is, because we do these on Sunday nights.
Yep.
And it's almost 9 where I am now, but it's pretty late where you are.
Yeah, it's 11 my time, so... And I had a really long drive last night, and I didn't get home till 2 a.m., so I am ready to go to bed. So.
Were you driving back from RiffTrax Live?
I wish, Dave. No, I was driving back from picking up my son's best friend in a town 2 hours away because his mom is recovering from her first session of chemotherapy. Yay, let's bring down the podcast. Because we're nice people, and she couldn't make the drive all the way by herself. So.
Oh, I see. I'm gonna do a bit where I'm a big jerk and be like, "You should have made the lady on chemo go get her kid." Yeah, everyone's gonna think I'm a jerk now. I mean, they already do.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Let's get off of this and just jump right into headlines.
Headlines.
So up first, we lost another one, Dave.
But what did we lose?
2 days ago, August 16th, Peter Fonda passed away.
Oh, I literally did not know he was alive until he died.
So I guess that's kind of good. Peter Fonda, if you're not quite familiar with the name, you may recognize him from such blockbuster movies as Escape from L.A., Ghost Rider, or Wild Hogs. Most people would know him as Wyatt, of course, from Easy Rider, his most well-known role.
I saw his sister's boobs in Barbarella.
Everybody did, Dave.
They're not that great.
Well, for back then, they were pretty good, I guess.
I suppose, yeah. That's all I got to say about Peter Fonda.
Let's see. Spider-Man Far From Home is now officially Sony Pictures' highest-grossing film of all time.
You serious?
Yes.
Wow.
It is now the movie that has made them the most money, reaching $1.109 billion, which put it above Skyfall.
Wow.
By
wow.
$1 billion. Yeah.
Skyfall is a damn good movie too.
Yeah, it took the place as now it's the officially highest grossing film for Sony. Of course, if you look domestically, I guess it's doing okay. It was number 12 last weekend, but
not to get political or anything, which I'm not, but I think that a lot of it, like a lot of the going back to rewatch it, I think a lot of people are really excited to see this really brilliant move of making J. Jonah Jameson basically Alex Jones and InfoWars. I mean, it's and the fact that nobody knew that they were bringing back J.K. Simmons. Who? That's just like, that's brilliant. I mean, that's just like. That's awesome, and I think that
was an amazing move.
Yeah. So
I did read a little bit of an interview with that, and they were talking about how his message hasn't really changed. Mm-hmm. It's just the way that it's being delivered, and it just kind of coincides with someone else who's crazy and delivering things like that.
Yeah, but he's still exactly J. Jonah Jameson. He still has that same inflection. That Spider-Man is just, from, and we can talk about this now because it's RiffTrax related, because, hey, Spider-Man was RiffTrax.
Yeah.
First one.
Yeah, and then probably one of my favorite things, honestly, about Far From Home was bringing the best part of the Sam Raimi movies back.
Yeah, because when you think about it, I know we all loved them at the time. Those movies are kind of crap.
Yeah, I could go without ever watching them again.
But hey, we also got to give it up, as long as we're talking about that. The one other really good thing about those movies is the late, great Macho Man Randy Savage as Bonesaw McGraw.
Bonesaw is ready!
I've got you for 3 minutes! One of the greatest to this day, still one of the greatest RiffTrax callbacks.
Yes.
I am so glad that they still, because they released that riff, I think, in 2007? I think it's a very, very early one.
It was a while ago.
Yeah, and it's, and they're doing a talk in RiffTrax about something recent. I can't remember what. And they brought up the Blue Thunder recurring running gag. And Bill referred to it as Blue Thunder. Only the ancients of all the ancients will even understand what that is, and we're keeping going with it. Now that's from Nightmare at Noon, which was released in 2012, and
which doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, we'll talk about that on a different podcast. But they still have another one that's even more ancient of the ancients from 2007. It's like, I got you for 3 minutes. So, RiffTrax, if you're listening, keep up the Bonesaw McGraw running gags. And all the running gags you have for, as Bill affectionately called us, the ancients of the ancients. I don't take that as an insult. He didn't mean it as an insult or anything. I'll just be like, yes. He's talking like, yes, that's me. He's talking about me. Yeah. Haha. Yay, RiffTrax.
Yeah, Cerebro Magneto.
No, Cerebro
Magneto. Cerebro.
X-Men.
Yes, Jim Dalen, as we talked about last week.
Yeah, we need to talk about that because I did a poll because we just finished the RiffTrax. We'll talk about it later. We just finished the RiffTrax Live season, and I put up in True Blue RiffTrax. I suspended a rule about no suggestions or requests or anything like that. What would people want to see in 2020? And much to my surprise and delight, I keep seeing Ghost House, Ghost House, Ghost House, Ghost House, Ghost House. And I didn't have to prompt people to do that. That there's an actual demand for a Ghost House live show. So,
a lot of people were suggesting Ghost House. I enjoyed that myself. I, of course, was one of those people that suggested Ghost House, but I saw a couple other people besides myself talking about Masters of the Universe, which I think is kind of one of those dream riffs for a lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of people want Masters.
And there were some good ones in there. Of course, somebody brought up Twilight, which kind of started the whole Kickstarter
thing. Sure did. It started the whole Kickstarter campaign. Now, I think it's pie in the sky. The guy who suggested his name is I don't want to say his real name, but he's an old friend of mine from the RiffTrax forum. Darth Geek. We'll use his internet name. I've interviewed him for the Riff Wiki. Knows a lot about iRiffs. He's a really, really cool guy. And he brought that up, and I think that is a lot of people's pie in the sky. I don't think it'll happen. I would love for it to happen, but it's like one of those things where if it does happen, I'll shoot out of my seat and cheer. But it's I don't really think about it much. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because they said before that Sony said that it just makes too much money for them still. And that's why they're not going to allow them to do that. I seem to remember that after.
Yeah.
I think maybe the second time they tried it, they got rejected again for that. But hey, someday maybe there's always the chance. Eventually it'll happen. But yeah, I would. There's too many to choose from, Dave.
Well, we've only been doing, I thought about doing 4, but then, I didn't want, because I know people from RiffTrax are in the group and they do read stuff, and I didn't want them to think that we were kind of pressuring them back into doing 4 a year, which is great, but it's also probably exhausting. And it just seems like since 2017 on forward, they've been doing 3 shows, 2 shows, 3 shows, April, June, August. That seems to be the new normal. So it's, I thought about, and for old time's sake, if you want to throw a 4th one in there for October, go ahead and do that. But I thought, no, let's just keep it to 3 because 3 is probably what we'll realistically be getting from here on out.
I don't mind only getting 3 because we're still getting 3 live shows a year. Come on.
Yeah.
That's special.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And I'm going to go back to the Bell Court sometime. Every year I say this is the year, and every year it's not. But it's going to happen. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back.
There were so many of my Facebook friends
Me too.
that were there for Giant Spider Invasion, and I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I hate you all.
Did you see someone actually put, and I'm not going to say his name, Rick Wiley, but he actually put, he was like half mocking me, half like, hey, hooray, and half like, screw you, Dave. Did you see this?
Yes, Dave, you really should be here.
Yeah, he posts a picture from inside the Bell Court. Like, Dave, you should be here. And I'm like, I know. It's like, you jerk.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't hate any of you, Margo.
I do.
Jealous, but I don't hate you.
Margo, I hate you. Quote me on that.
Come on, Dave.
I don't hate Margo.
No. Who can hate Margo? She's very nice.
She's amazing. I love her.
Let's take a quick look at the weekend box office before we get into things here. The new movie that's all about children and swearing, Good Boys, is number one with a weekend gross of $21 million, unfortunately. Hobbs and Shaw drops down to number two. The Lion King still in third place. Angry Birds movie 2 and fourth. And Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark slips down to 5. And if you scroll down the list here a little bit, you get down to number 25, and we have Avengers Endgame still alive and kicking, raking in $98,000 on 108.
God.
Even though it now is officially out on Blu-ray and DVD and all that good stuff.
People are listening to the director's commentary at their houses. It's still making $98,000 in theaters.
Yeah. I just thought that was funny. Still almost another $100,000 over the weekend, and that of course is just here in the U.S. But
it all goes to Robert Downey Jr.
and he would deserve it.
He sure does.
Let's go on now from our news, and let's get right into our short reviews of RiffTrax shorts. Yes. For today's short review of RiffTrax shorts, we are going to be taking a look at Good Eating Habits, released on October 30th of 2008.
Ooh.
So, Good Eating Habits. Do you know any, Dave?
No.
I thought I knew most of them, but after watching this short, I can honestly say that I learned something new. I also learned that I hadn't actually watched this short before.
Okay, continue.
With Good Eating Habits, we mostly learn the wrong way to eat food. Sure, they touch on not eating a bunch of trash, but even then, it mostly focuses on how not to eat it. In the short, we get to follow a boy named Bill. Bill has a stomachache, and it's not because he ate bad foods, but it's because of how he ate the food. He gulped and he gorged, and he left half of his food uneaten. He stopped on the way home and slammed fistfuls of candy and cookies and chugged a pop like he needed to rot all the teeth out of his head yesterday. When it was time for dinner, he started not feeling well, and he had to go to bed. The next day, he ate slower. He only had graham crackers for a snack, and he ate all of the food that he was given at mealtime. And guess what? No stomachache. As for what I learned, you're not supposed to wash down your food while you're eating it.
What, you're not?
No, you're not supposed to have a mouthful of food and then take a drink to wash it down.
Okay.
Yeah. There are a few running gags in this one, and obviously, those are some of our favorite things here on the True Blue Riffcast. Kevin is constantly making eating sound effects for the kid, and there were a lot of pauses after a few short words from the narrator, and every time that happened, Mike Nelson went and it cracked me up every time. I also liked finding a short that I had not seen yet. Of course, there being well over 300 shorts now, I'm sure there are a few more that I will come across while I'm doing these that I haven't watched yet. Good Eating Habits gets 4 bowls of mush out of 5. So that's good eating habits. Next week, I'm going to do something a little bit different for my short.
We didn't discuss this before.
I'm going rogue, Dave. I'm going rogue. Next week, we are going to be taking a look at a collection of shorts.
Ooh.
We're going to be taking a look at the At Your Fingertips collection.
Oh.
Yay!
Yeah.
And, of course, we will talk about the one completely terrible thing that has come out of these shorts. But we'll get to that next week. Right now, we're going to go from the shorts to the not-so-shorts and take a look at our first RiffTrax movie for the week. Dave, what are we going to be looking at today?
Let's go ahead and start with, since it's topical and we've already covered it a little bit, let's go ahead and talk about the giant spider invasion, which was just riffed live by RiffTrax, if you can believe it, on August 15th, 2019. Jeremy, you were not able to participate in this RiffTrax live outing. Is that correct?
That is correct, Dave.
Okay.
Because as we've talked about many times before,
yes,
on the True Blue Riffcast,
right,
my stupid local theater chain decided for whatever reason that they weren't going to schedule all of the RiffTrax live shows this year, or any of the RiffTrax live shows. And if you want a further in-depth look at this,
so bad.
Take a listen to last week's episode, Jim's Father's on that plane, and you'll be able to hear what transpired last week that at least kind of made me feel a little bit better. But enough of that before I get too worked up and rant on and on. Let's get back to Giant Spider Invasion, Dave.
Right, okay. So this was the final outing for the 2019 RiffTrax live season, and it's also kind of a cool note. I mean, it's pretty significant, but I mean, They didn't make a huge deal out of it, but it's still something that's pretty cool. It's like it was the 30th live show.
That is amazing.
Yeah, I know, because if you think about it. Like, I used to think that, in fact, I still do, and it's even more true now, that Jack the Giant Killer was the RiffTrax Live deep cut. And that was when they had only done, like, maybe 9 of them, you know?
Yeah.
Where they were still in single digits.
There weren't very many before that one.
No, there was, I think it was like I think they did, I'm trying to think here. In fact, I run a website that I think, I run a website that I think might help us on this one just a little bit. It's called riffwiki.net, and it's a RiffTrax encyclopedia online that anybody can edit. Now, okay, so here we have the, in fact, let's just go ahead and go through all of them. We're not going to, like, talk about each of them, but let's just go ahead and go through each, just like the title and the month and year they were riffed. Yeah. For the RiffTrax Live. Plan 9 from Outer Space, August 2009. Christmas Short Extravaganza, December 2009.
With Weird Al Yankovic.
Yep, Weird Al. Reefer Madness, August 2010. House on Haunted Hill, October 2010. Jack the Giant Killer as number 5, August 2011. Manos the Hands of Fate, August 2012. Birdemic, Shock and Terror, October 2012. Starship Troopers, August 2013. This is where the modern era of, well, modern, but this is kind of where the RiffTrax Live kind of takes a turn a little bit, in that this is where the Kickstarter started back in 2013, and we started getting lots of live shows every year. And at this point, Starship Troopers was only number 8. And this was August 2013, so not that long ago, only 6 years ago.
Which still blows my mind that it was that. I mean, you know, you're like,
it seems like it just happened, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like only 6 years ago, but it's like, wow, that was 6 years ago? I still have, like, I still remember that vividly, you know? Starship Troopers, August 2013. Night of the Living Dead, October 2013. Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, December 2013. Sharknado, July 2014. Godzilla, August 2014. Anaconda, October 2014. Santa Claus, December, not to be confused with Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. December 2014. The Room, May 2015. Sharknado 2, July 2015. Miami Connection, October 2015. Santa and the Ice Cream Bunny, December 2015.
The Crappening.
Yeah, then that was the Crappening. Time Chasers, May 2016. MST3K Reunion Show, June 2016. Mothra, which I attended live at the Belcourt, which was amazing, August 2016. Carnival of Souls, October 2016. Samurai Cop, April 2017. Summer Sorts Beach Party, which was amazing, June 2017. Doctor Who: The Five Doctors, I would call that the Lost live show, August 2017. Yep. Space Mutiny, July 2018. Krull, August 2018. Octoman, April 2019. Star Raiders, June 2019. And this one, Giant Spider Invasion, August 2019. Wow. I mean...
Yeah, that's quite a list.
Amazing. I mean, you look at some of these titles and, like, I just say, like, just like Mothra, you know? I don't know how at Starship Troopers, after Starship Troopers and, well, maybe Godzilla and Anaconda, but, and, you know, you have Mothra and, like, I would probably throw Krull in there, and Doctor Who maybe, but these aren't some, like, those are some big movies that you can get.
Yeah.
And not to mention things like Birdemic and The Room and, like, these really big, not public domain stuff that you actually have to go out and get effort and, like, and pay some money and deal with some maybe not so great personalities. I don't know who I could be talking about. To do it, but RiffTrax Live is an amazing phenomenon, and I just hope that it doesn't end with the 30th. In fact, I don't think it will. I think it's going to keep going.
Yeah, no, I think they probably would have made a bigger deal out of it if it was going to be the end.
Yeah, or if even if they had realized that it was the 30th, like before, like 2 days before it happened.
Yeah,
I think they're just so focused, like, oh, this is the 30th? Oh, wow.
Oh, hey, maybe we should say something about that. I will say that even though I wasn't able to participate in any of this for Giant Spider Invasion, I did learn something that Sean and Connor are going to be releasing a RiffTrax short soon.
Oh, thank God. Finally. Jeez, guys. That's going to be awesome. Did they say that on Twitter or?
Somebody else that was talking to Sean posted it.
Oh, okay, that's
somewhere.
Cool. Yeah.
I don't remember if it was on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or whatever, but it was somewhere out there. That's going to be
amazing. I'm really excited for that. Honestly,
I am too.
I think we all have been since Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
The actual substance of the show, it was a good show. You know, I think that for me, I think what really made the show stand out, or what's going to stick with me the most, is, I mean, the movie itself and the riffing out of it was great. I'm not taking anything away from that, but the traditional short that we have before the main is this little nugget called Adventures in Telezonia. And,
yeah, I kind of heard about this one a little bit.
It defies description, Adventures in Telezonia. It has puppets. And puppets that... It's nightmare fuel. It really is. It's probably like one of the more It probably is one of the more disturbing things I've seen on RiffTrax.
Wow.
I mean, like genuinely disturbing. Like what is happening? It's maybe not on the same kind of what did I just see as in Trucker's Woman when we see our hero assault a woman in a hotel room. Maybe not that far.
Yeah, that would be interesting for short with puppets.
Yeah, but it's just like, dude, what is going on with it? I mean, like, You'll have to see go. Well, by the time you're listening to this, the rebroadcast will probably already be happening. But when you get to VOD, or even just Google Adventures in Telezonia, and you'll see why I'm not able to describe it to you any more than I have. It's something else.
You can actually watch it on the Library of Congress website. If you just do a Google search for Adventure in Telezonia, it comes up, and it's one of the first results. And you can watch the full thing right there. And I'm looking at the thumbnail right now.
Yeah, isn't it something?
Yeah. That's terrifying.
Yeah, it's kind of like, because we're in like an audio medium right now, and it's hard. It's difficult to. Because I'm sure I've said it before, be like, I can't describe you. You're just gonna have to go see it. It's hard to even talk about. It's one of those things that RiffTrax routinely does to us. But this is like I would compare it to Wizzo in terms of it just being just completely bonkers.
If you want at least somewhat of an idea of what the puppets kind of look like. They were done by Bill Barrett, who did the puppets for The Sound of Music for the Lonely Goat Herd sequence.
Yeah, Bill was talking about that at the live show, yeah. And even they couldn't, that was the only thing they had to say about it, too, before it started. It was...
Oh.
But as far as the giant spiders invading... it's an old MST3K episode. Maybe not on the same level as, say, something that is as well known out there as something as, say, like Time Chasers was. But a lot of
Space Mutiny.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a worthy inclusion in the RiffTrax live catalog, I think. It has Alan Hale in it, the skipper from Gilligan's Island. And to kind of give you an idea of the kind of writing and performances that you could expect from Giant Spider Invasion, is that Alan Hale's first line, and it's the first line of the movie. It's somebody comes in and it's like, "Oh, hey, Sheriff," and he says, "Hey, little buddy," and it's just like, oh God.
Now this was made in Wisconsin, yeah?
Yes, it was made in Wisconsin. They made a big deal about it being in Wisconsin. But you would think that the people who made it hate Wisconsin because they portrayed everybody in it as a backwater inbred hick who wants to sleep with their underage stepdaughter, and it's just and this movie treats women so well.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, and it has about 10,000 subplots that it picks up on and then immediately discards. In fact, it's a good fun time. I would say, like I said before, it's definitely a worthy entry into the RiffTrax live catalog.
I look forward to being able to watch it on October 15th when the VOD is released.
Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, I'm wearing my official RiffTrax Live Kickstarter T-shirt right now. You can't see it, but I'm holding it out and pointing it at my computer screen as if you all can. So
yes,
enjoy that, everybody. It's purple and it has Octoman and it has I think that's Saber Rain.
It's Mike, Kevin, and Bill as the characters from Star Raiders.
Oh, okay.
And then there's the giant spider in the background.
Yeah, the background. Yeah, and it's under there 2019. So hooray, RiffTrax Live, and I look forward to next year.
I look forward to hopefully being able to watch the shows next year.
Funny.
Good, Rich.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not going to get started on that again. So let's move on now to our winner of this week's listener poll.
Which was a dark horse victory, I got to say. I was not expecting this one to win.
Yeah, it was kind of like when Rollergator stormed the gates.
Yeah.
But for those of you who might not remember, our three choices were the Carnival of Souls live show, the Last Slumber Party, a favorite of mine.
And mine.
And the Little Shop of Horrors.
Little Shop.
Not that version.
Yeah, I know.
And our winner was Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, because it's actually even more of a deep cut than what was the other one that we threw in there the last second that we just talked about. Yeah, Last Slumber. Yeah, Last Slumber. That we both love. I was surprised because like a lot of people like I said, this was released in January of 2009.
Yeah, okay. So it's back there ways.
Yeah, it's part of RiffTrax history in this way. First, it was it's one of the recolorizations done by the former parent company of RiffTrax, Legend Films. And back previous to RiffTrax, Mike Nelson had done, I think, 3. If I'm wrong out there, email me, Dave at trueblueriffcast.com. Any way to contact me and tell me that I'm wrong and dumb. I think that Mike Nelson did 3 solo commentaries for those. And I believe they were Plan 9 from Outer Space, zombie one, Night of the Living Dead, yeah, and this one, Little Shop of Horrors.
Now, the one that we're not quite sure on is Plan 9.
Yeah.
We know for sure Little Shop of Horrors and Night of the Living Dead. I actually have that DVD of Night of the Living Dead. I finally found it. I think it was last year. I was finally able to get my hands on a copy of that one. And it's kind of the proto RiffTrax.
Yeah, because it's like even RiffTrax has said that the official start of RiffTrax was the release of Roadhouse in 2006. And the reason we know that is because Jeremy was that was a question that was on, what was it, a couple of years ago or last year when they did Eric put out this Are You a RiffTrax mega fan test.
Oh, the trivia thing.
Yeah, the trivia thing. And you're the only fan to get every single question right.
Well, I was the first one through it.
Yeah. Well, I think you're the only one because they said that they were going to give some crazy prize to anybody who did it, and I remember they put out a tweet or a post saying that you were the only one that did it.
Yeah, I got I think I got like $50 gift certificate for RiffTrax.com, which was amazing. But it's great because I don't know if people actually realize this, but if you go onto your RiffTrax account, they have like an achievement system where you get like little badges and stuff for going to the Kickstarter shows and checking out the digital goodies pages and stuff like that. And I have the highest number of points on achievements, mostly because of that trivia thing. Because I got a special achievement.
I'll have to go check out my achievements. That's okay because I have the highest number of achievements on the Riff Wiki because I'm the only one that contributes to it, but it's okay. But
because it's yours. Yeah. Yes, I am currently ranked number 1 with 11,100 points.
Wait a minute. Okay, I'm very upset now. I'm very mad about that. We're gonna have to. Okay. Anyway, we're in the middle of the podcast. But anyway, the reason I brought that up is because that was the question that got me kicked off the trivia thing. Because it's like it was a trick question. It was like either like July 22nd, 2006, or July 20th, and I chose like the wrong one. And I was just like, oh dang, right? But so that's how we know that RiffTrax, their official very first one was Roadhouse, the Mike solo riff, and the stuff that came before that is like RiffTrax precursor. It's kind of like the Film Crew.
Yep.
Now they brought it back and redid it in early 2009. Now, this is interesting for this reason, is that up until then, they'd basically been doing, in 2006, 7, and 8, they threw a couple of VODs in here and there, but they'd basically been doing MP3s. But in 2009, they got a whole bunch of public domain either recolorizations from Legend Films or just straight up public domain or stuff that maybe they didn't have to pay a whole lot of money for, but I'm looking at this list and it looks like it's all public domain to me. It's like a precursor to the VOD era that was kicked off with Crater Lake Monster 2 years later. We had Reefer Madness that was released on January 20th, 2009, followed a week later by Little Shop of Horrors, which they brought that back and they did Mike, Kevin, and Bill. Then they did House on Haunted Hill. A week after that, then Night of the Living Dead, Missile to the Moon, which they had previously done with Fred Willard, and in, I think, 2007. Then a couple weeks later, they did Carnival of Souls. Then a week later after that, they did Swing Parade. And then about 2 months after that, they did Planet of Dinosaurs. And then about a month after that, they did Bela Lugosi movie called Voodoo Man. And all these movies are public domain. So it seems to me that this was them kind of testing out the VOD waters, as it were. I think Little Shop, I mean, it didn't get a live show. I mean, Reefer Madness was a live show. We just went through all this. I mean, Reefer Madness was a live show. House on Haunted Hill was a live show. Night of the Living Dead was a live show. Carnival of Souls was a live show. Little Shop has been forgotten, and a lot of people don't even realize that the riff for it exists. We go through all that to say that, that's why Little Shop is a deep cut.
Yes. It was a very early release that not very many people talk about.
Yep. And in fact, I'll go and say it. It's been forgotten. It's been completely forgotten. I watched it about 3 years ago, and I was just like, this movie is terrible. It made me want to punch Roger Corman in the face. And then I decided I'm going to make a storybook chapter out of this for Volume 2 of Mystery Science Storybook. And I was actually talking to my dad about, I saw this movie, Little Shop of Horrors. It really got to me about how stupid it is. And he's like, I love that movie. Then he starts singing the songs. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? And then it'd be like, it's a musical. I'm like, no, the hell it isn't. Are you be like, no, there's and then he showed me his copy of the 1986 musical. And I took it and I watched it and I hated it more than I hated this movie. And I'm like, are you serious? People like this? It's kind of like where I started to really despise Bill Murray. Where he's just kind of, but I kind of took that and then I didn't watch it again until it won this, but I never forgot a lot of it. Just kind of like my experience. To me, it's an essential RiffTrax experience because of all that.
Yeah, it's highly enjoyable. I watched it for the first time just a few months ago, actually. It was up on Amazon Prime for a while.
Really?
And I decided I would watch it, and then literally 3 days later, they took it off. So I'm glad I watched it when I did, but yeah, it's...
I own it, yeah.
It's definitely a bad movie.
Yeah, but the riff. I mean, I think in a lot of ways it's a lot like House on Haunted Hill, which obviously the 3-riffer edition of that was released a week later. So I actually kind of have an ear for certain eras of RiffTrax, and when I was watching this again, because I just barely finished it before we started recording, so everything's still very fresh in my mind. And especially at the very beginning, I kind of have an ear for different eras of RiffTrax. And I mean, I already knew that it was released in early 2009. But if I didn't, there were just kind of like certain types of jokes, kind of like references to Bud American Ale, that kind of thing. That could be like, oh, okay, this is definitely it has it definitely has 2009 RiffTrax written all over it.
Yeah.
So just the kind of shticks that they were doing, you could tell. You could definitely tell around the time that it was written. But do you want to talk about the actual substance of the movie? Because the movie, oh my gosh, the things happening in this movie are crazy.
Yes. The movie is about one Seymour Krelborn, who is a real down on his luck type of guy. He works for Mr. Mushnick in his
Who's
flower
the
shop.
best character in the entire movie. I hate the movie, but I love Mushnick.
Along with Audrey,
who I hate.
who Seymour is in love with.
One more thing about Audrey. Oh, two things about Audrey that might take away. She has breasts, and she's incredibly stupid.
Yep.
Yeah.
Both of those things are accurate, Dave. Seymour gets his hands on a plant. He shows Mr. Mushnick, and Audrey's like, "Oh, we should display it, and people will come in." And the plant looks very sickly because nothing is working for helping it grow. No type of plant food or anything is helping it. And while Seymour is fretting about, he accidentally pricks his finger, and he ends up feeding it to the plant.
And it turns into then suddenly everything turns into Roller Gator.
Not the music,
yeah.
just the puppetry. But so we have this plant who likes to drink blood, and we have poor Seymour who is cutting his fingers to give him the blood, and then he goes out and murders a man in cold blood. I mean, it was kind of accidental.
What? Here, I'm gonna throw a rock.
He's walking down the train tracks, and he picks up a rock and chucks it, and he just happened to hit somebody with it.
And then that person just happens to get hit by a train. and then he just happens to pick up all his body parts and put them in a bag. Happens to carry it back.
Feed it to the plant.
Feed it to the plant.
Yeah, which of course Mr. Mushnick kind of sees.
Definitely, no, not kind of. Definitely sees. Oh, also, he's on a date. He's on some kind of platonic date with Audrey. Which I'm like, what? And he doesn't have any money, and I'm like, what, huh? Anyway, I just that made me pretty angry.
Yeah. Seymour ends up accidentally killing somebody else.
Oh yeah, he stabs a dentist in the face, and Jack Nicholson shows up.
Yeah, and then Mr. Mushnick gets a guy killed.
It was a robber, right?
Yes, yeah, he was trying to rob the place. After Mushnick went back to get some money, and the robber came in because he's like, "Hey, you got all these customers now. You got to have a lot of money." And
can we talk about how Mushnick goes into the shop right before he sees the robber coming, and he's gonna go hide, but he hides behind a glass door that is completely see-through.
Yeah. It's Anyway, we get toward the end of the movie, and I actually like this part. And I kind of wish
terrible Dragnet parody.
Oh yes, the guys that are supposed to be Joe Friday and what's his face? I can never remember the other guy's name.
Colonel Potter.
Yeah, Colonel Potter. Yeah. God, these detectives.
Yeah.
Are like, okay,
a child burned to death. What?
I get that, this movie is kind of like a dark comedy, but yeah. My favorite part out of this whole film though is the end, because I wish they would have kept this part in when they did the version. Was it 86 you said?
Yeah.
The musical version. And they're at the plant shop, and Seymour's there, and all of a sudden the flowers bloom, the pods open on Audrey Jr. there, and it's all the faces of the people that
he's
the plant
eaten.
ate.
Yeah.
And I thought that was kind of a nice touch. They should have kept that in the remake and blown people's minds, I think, because it was kind of unexpected.
Yeah.
And And then Seymour decides that he's going to end the plant. He feeds himself to the plant, and he's got like shears or whatever in his hand.
A knife.
And,
yeah, he's gonna stab it.
Yeah.
I don't know what I think he's gonna do to it, but
he pulls a Drax and he stabs it from the inside, and then the last thing you see is his face showing up on the plant.
Yeah, and that and apparently the plant Audrey 2 or Audrey Senior or whatever. That's a stupid thing that this guy named the plant after this girl that he likes. Apparently eating him is what killed the plant.
Yeah.
And it killed him as well.
Yeah. And he apologizes and then dies for good.
Just dies and oh well, that's the end. Well, I mean, he was a murderer. I mean,
he wasn't necessarily a good feller. He was killing people to feed them to a plant.
Mm-hmm.
One of the other good things that we got out of this movie, and I sent a screenshot of it to Dave yesterday. When the poll had been finalized, we got a song from the RiffTones.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Called "Eat Me," and it's one of my favorite songs from the RiffTones.
Yeah, I'm really digging how the RiffTones have been using RiffTrax live. And guys, if you don't know, when we say the RiffTones, we mean Mike, Kevin, and Bill.
Yeah,
yeah, it's basically the music side of RiffTrax. It's RiffTrax, but it's the RiffTones.
I actually think "Eat Me" is my favorite of the Mike-led songs. With Kevin, it's a whole nother story because the ones that he gets to sing lead on have all been completely outstanding.
Well, because Kevin is amazing. He is an amazing singer.
Yes, he is.
Wow. Every time I hear the man sing, I'm without fail, I'm blown away. It's I think it all starts with, for me anyway, that's the ultimate RiffTones kind of tune, right?
I love that song also.
I can listen to it because I remember listening to the Jaws riff, and then how they put it at the end of that and made it part of the riff is just brilliant.
Yeah, that was Mary Jo Pehl singing that with him, wasn't it?
Maybe, I don't know.
I think it's her. Now I kind of got to look that up.
But then you got to come around to if we're going to talk about the RiffTones, we have to talk about the Samurai Cop rock and action theme. I mean,
yes.
And not only that, if we're going to talk about that, we also have to talk about the two go together. I think Samurai Cop rock and action theme and Mutiny of Love. They're so good.
They're so good. And if you haven't seen it, I don't know if they put it up anywhere else.
I know it's on RiffTrax.
Yeah, the video of him doing Mutiny of Love.
Oh, that is amazing.
It's so good.
It's I watched that I no doubt I think I watched it about 15 times in a row because I was just blown away about how good Kevin Murphy is. I think 2018 has a lot of really cool, fun moments. I think that's one of them. And I think a really fun Bill moment from 2018 is you go back. And he does it with Mike and Kevin too. Is the ending of A Talking Cat?
The RiffTrax house.
Yeah, the RiffTrax house.
Yes, that is such an outstanding bit.
Yeah, it's probably. I mean, I don't think anything can ever top the end credits bit of Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 1. But this comes pretty close. It's amazing. Definitely, as Kevin says, it's a tour de force by one Bill Corbett.
Yeah, now I'm thinking about RiffTrax house and how much I just want.
I'm gonna pull that up. I'm gonna pull that up right now on my TV so I can put it right on right after we get done recording. I'm not even kidding. I'm on my PlayStation right now.
So if you get to the end of a RiffTrax VOD, there are a few that they just kind of keep going throughout the credits.
Radical Jack is one.
Radical Jack going off on Rutledge.
Yeah.
the town of Rutledge, Vermont.
Yeah, and I think also West Rutledge.
Yeah. They do that on there. They do that with Hawk the Slayer.
Yeah. Oh,
and
God.
The animated Hawk who ends up being a Nazi. And
God,
of course,
RiffTrax.
A talking cat.
Yep. They used to do it a lot with the MP3s, and like we'd be here all day if we got to talk about that. But
yeah, so we're gonna have to make sure we cut it short and we don't just ramble on and on about this. And I am still trying to figure out. I'm pretty sure that's Mary Jo Pehl singing "When a Man Loves a Shark" along with Kevin Murphy, but I cannot find anything. I've been looking this whole time, and I can't find anything definitive that says that it is indeed her, but it really sounds like her.
Well, we'll ask them the next time we talk to them.
Yeah.
Because they totally talk to us all the time.
Oh, yeah, constantly.
That's what people think.
So anyway, for next week's listener poll, since the last Slumber Party and the Carnival of Souls, neither of those won, so those continue on to the next week.
Yes,
and
we stay on until somebody wins.
Yes, and we will be adding in the apple.
It's the apple, Mr. Apple. Take me for a ride. Let me be your guide through the apple paradise. I'm a big fan of the apple. So
maybe next episode, Bim might be on the way.
Hey, Bim's on the way. Oh God, I love the apple. Anyway, sorry. Little Shop of Horrors, amazing. Pick it up.
Yeah. Make sure you look for that poll. I've been saying poll weird tonight. Make sure you look for that Thursday night, Friday-ish, somewhere around there. I'll put it up and give you guys a little while to vote on it. Hey, speaking of polls, we ran a poll. We ran one last week to find out who was more popular in Denver.
Who won?
Kelly LeBrock was more popular in Denver. Yes. So there you go, folks.
I voted for her only because she was in The Sorcerer's Apprentice, and I don't think Kim Bassinger's been in any RiffTrax.
No, I do believe that is accurate. So that's going to do it for us this week. Before we get going on the Apple or any of these other movies,
because we'll be here all night,
and I really need to get to bed. So once again, I'm Jeremy. You can get a hold of me at jeremy@trueblueriffcast.com. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at PBandAwesome, and you can follow the Riffcast on Twitter at TBRiffcast.
And I'm Dave. You can check me out at sugarraydodge.com. You can send me emails at dave@sugarraydodge@gmail.com, or you can send it to, what the hell is our show called? Dave@trueblueriffcast.com.
And I just realized that I wasn't recording.
You're full of crap.
No. Apparently, it didn't start when I clicked it.
Well, leave this part in, because thank God that I was recording. Do you want me to send? I guess I have to now.
Yes, you're gonna have to send that to me, Dave.
Okay.
Yes. So on the heels of my screw up, we'll see you guys next time on the True Blue Riffcast.
See ya.
Son of a bitch.
I can't believe you didn't record all that. That's okay. Let me go ahead and end this recording so that it actually saves.